Welcome back to Nick Lenz's Movie Review, episode 110. Yep. Now we're going to talk about the second Wolverine film. If you want something to wipe the bad taste in your mouth that you got when you watched X-Men Wolverine, watch this film. It's a heck of a lot better. Now it does draw a little bit of inspiration what was going on. Now and this is just a theory, that one of the minor plot threads in this particular film where Wolverine's healing factor is suppressed. Was this inspiration for Death Wolverine's storyline in the comics, which came out like that came out around the same time this film was released? Yeah, this film was released 4 years after the events of X-Men Origins Wolverine. Now, this film starts off in 1945. Yep, Wolverine pretty much when not like what was happening, and apparently there are people committing Shenpakto in the back then, which I'm like, why the heck would anybody want to commit Shenpakto before atomic bomb dropping on a major city? And from what I've heard, I heard the U.S. basically had, when I read a little research about it, yeah, Schumer was asked years later why did he do it, because if he didn't, the war would have had like a lot more. The casualty count for the war would have been much higher than it was if these two bombings didn't happen. This is actually one of two cities that the U.S. bombed in World War II with atomic bomb. They only made two of these things. After these two cities were bombed, Japan surrendered. That's the whole point of this, basically, which gets Japan to surrender. That's pretty much what Schumann was doing. Do I agree with this decision? No, not really, especially since he destroyed a major city with millions of people in it. Though, here's kind of the thing about it. Both cities, as far as I can tell, have been rebuilt since then, and the population basically is perfectly fine now. Yeah. Now, I do question of why Japanese soldiers were trying to commit Shenpakto before the bombing of an atomic bomb. Yeah. As for why the film started like this, I have no idea. Now, Gavin Hood is not the director of this one. No, he's replaced with James Mangold. Yes, the same guy who directed Logan. Yes. Yeah, no wonder why they brought him back for Logan. Because he did a great job with this film. Like, oh my gosh, it's like so much better. Yep. And after that, we cut the present day after the events of the let's just say, very bad X-Men Last Stand. Yeah, we're still in the real events of that. So Wolverine is mourning the death of a woman he actually killed in that film. Jean Grey killed her by stabbing her in the gut. Yep. And Frankie Jameson herself does reprise her role as Jean Grey first time since that film. Yeah, after this film came out, she does reprise her role for Days of Future Past. But that's it. That's the only other time you see her in the film series. Yeah, she only appears 2 more times. The actress herself, surprisingly, is pushing 60. She looks really good for her age. Yep. You see her several times the whole film because Wolverine is basically grieving the death of, well, her. And also, we also have, like, Wolverine living in a cabin, and he comes across a bear who basically has got a poison arrow, so he has no choice but to put it down. And then he confronts the hunters later on. Yeah, he confronts the hunters for their terrible hunting skills. Like, so you fired a poison arrow and then Bob the detective was dead. Yeah, Wolverine had every right to attack this guy because, well, not only did he probably did it he didn't kill him per se, he just basically beat him up. Yeah. At least didn't kill him. Yeah. My personal guess is Wolverine probably after beat him should turn over to the police for animal cruelty and probably could have had his hunting license pulled for the bullcrapping pull for he had to do. Yep. And then he runs to Yuko. Yep. Yuko. You're probably thinking, wait, it wasn't Yuko also in Deadpool 2? There is an explanation for this. Different characters. Yeah. That's my only theory is that these are two completely different characters. Excuse me, by the way, Yuka follows Wolverine a lot this whole film, and she basically is kind of a bodyguard for Wolverine. hmm Basically, she's there to invite Wolverine to Japan. Yes, Japan. To say goodbye to a man he saved back at the man he saved at the beginning of the film. Okay, very good start. He initially was reluctant, but he decides to go anyways. And, well, Wolverine frickin' Japan. And I at least gotta praise the fact Mangold had Hugh Jackman act like the proper Wolverine from the comic books. Unlike in X-Men Origins, and also, I also gotta give high praise for this. The claws were not CGI. I'm sure even he agreed. That was a stupid idea. I'm not sure whose bright idea that was, but I'm sure that probably the person got fired for that. CGI claws. I mean, the claws themselves look like the actual claws they used from the previous X-Men films, which high praise for Mango for doing that. Yep. And he goes to Japan, says goodbye to the guy. Also, apparently keeping alive with some modern technology. We see Viper in the movie. Yes, Viper from our comics this movie. And she is not, she's called Dr. Green, but she's also called Viper. Yeah, here's the thing about this character. She is portrayed by a woman who's Russian. Nothing against her for that. Okay? The problem is the fact to give her superpowers. Yeah. Yeah, Viper in the movie. Like, apparently she has toxins. Okay. Pretty much what the writer. I don't think this is Mango's idea. This is probably the writer of the script's idea for this. Basically, Viper is Wolverine's poison ivy. That's simply what this character is. She's a ripoff of Poison Ivy. That's my only gist of it. Yep. She doesn't show up this trait until later on in the film, though there's a hint about this bug, which actually is in Wolverine's body, blocking his healing factor. Yeah, as for how this is put there, apparently Dr. Green put in his body at some point. It's not thoroughly explained how. He does eventually get out thanks to thanks to the granddaughter of the man he saved back in World War II, who he also sleeps with. Marco. Yep. Marco. Which, okay. Now, him falling in love with her and having sex, that's very typical Wolverine. Which, this character is a character from the comics, which, high praise for that. And I at least got high praise for this particular film, featuring characters, mostly who are characters who have been in Wolverine comics over the years. I would say like every single major character who appeared in this movie is a character from the Wolverine comic who's at least appeared in the comic at some point. Yeah. Now, apparently the main villain of this film is the Silver Samurai. Yeah, the Silver Samurai. Okay. Here's kind of the thing. The guy who's supposed to be Silver Samurai, the one who appears in live action, never becomes Silver Samurai. They give it to a completely different character. Which, when I saw it, I'm like, what? Why the heck would you do that for? Also, the suit is a ripoff of the Iron Man armor from the MCU. Yeah, I'm sure my friend Edgar probably, when he saw this film, you're like, wait, did you just rip off Iron Man? Yeah, I'm sure he probably felt the same way too when Wolverine fought him later on in the movie. Yeah, also apparently he wanted the metal in his body. Because apparently, also he wanted a bit of his blood for some reason to keep himself alive somehow. It's not thoroughly explained. Also, we have this awesome battle sequence where this happened a couple times in the movie. First, we have a fight at the funeral. Yep, we have Wolverine versus the Yakuza. Yeah, what an awesome fight scene this is. Well choreographed, and he beats the crap out of those people. And he follows Marco, basically acting like our bodyguard, on a freaking bullet train. No, I've never heard these things before. And he's there for a little while, have a good conversation. And then more Yakuza show up, and then they take the fight to the freaking roof of the bullet train. Yeah, I'm surprised that they're able to get away with this. Having a fight on top of a bullet train, the fastest train in the freaking planet. Yes, and I love how they keep how they basically stay on top of the train. Wolverine stays on top thanks to his claws. The other guy thanks to his freaking katana. Which, okay, that is pretty smart and genius move on the part of the scriptwriters to do. And they fight for a good period of time. Then Wolverine's gonna get back down, but Margaret disappeared. Then they take off to a village, and that's then when they fall in love. They have sex. Okay. Oh yeah, and apparently the company, the Yamada company, apparently is made up a lot of adamantium for some reason. Yeah, the reason is build a silver samurai suit for some reason instead of, oh, I don't know, spending money on research, make it business profitable. Also, for some strange reason, according to the guy's will, the whole company is not going to his son. Nope, it's going to his granddaughter. Yeah, no idea why. Also, Wolverine fights the guy later on. Finds, I think, a friend of his in Japan, spooks out a couple girls, and then he's like, "Oh yeah, you're celebrating death of your father." Yeah, he's like a pitiful person. He is. Yep. That's what he finds about the other facility that he has in like northern Japan. I'm not sure exactly where this place is because I've never been in Japan. Hmm. Yeah. So he goes there, and that's where a really kind of bad thing happens. Apparently, Wolverine gets captured, and he brings out his claws. And apparently, that's what they want him to do. And what do? They chop off his claws. And then somehow they shoot out bone later on. Yeah, and then his friend, who becomes Silver Samurai, gets killed after a long, grueling battle. And the actual Silver Samurai gets killed by the fake Silver Samurai. I call it a fake because this guy is not the Silver Samurai. This guy claims to be Silver Samurai. Yep. And Viper is killed by freaking Wolverine really easily. I'm like, yeah, that was pretty simple. Mark gets away. She takes the company. She also kind of like disbands the company, but trying to rebrand. She wants up all the metal and just basically kind of start up with the company. Yep. Yuko decides, and of course Wolverine takes her private plane, goes back home, and Yuko tags along. Okay, be his bodyguard. All right. And of course, I love Yuko in the whole film. She's a great character. She's basically in the movie for a good chunk of the movie, which I at least got probably praise for that. And then we have it where somehow, some way, and this is not exactly thoroughly explained. Apparently, it took time after Wolverine's claws got out. They apparently put the claws back in his hands. They probably did off screen. And then Wolverine gets confronted, like, here's some metal moving, and he turns around, and it's freaking Magneto, who's got his powers back. I'm sure a lot of people are like, what? I thought you were depowered in X-Men Last Stand. Yeah. The way it's explained, if you watch the ending of the film, apparently the cure is temporary somehow, but it is. And then he turns around, and of course, everybody freezes. This is actually a thing that apparently Charles Xavier does in the X movies. He freezes like time, which is something that he actually, from what I remember, he did have early on in the comics back in the '60s, but as when I was reading comics, no, he never had this power. He's a very powerful telepath. He doesn't have the ability to freeze frickin' time. And then Wolverine's like, hey, aren't you dead? Which a lot of people probably say, aren't you frickin' dead? Didn't Jean Grey kill you? She basically vaporized you. Well, there is an explanation for that too. Apparently, Xavier planned for this and transferred the body of a guy named P. Xavier. Apparently, another brother or something like that, and Maura McTaggart was with him for some reason. Yeah, it's never totally explained. And like, we need your help. Something really bad is happening to mutants. And that leads into Days of Future Past. Yes. This movie overall is really good. And this movie is very loosely inspired, or at least partially inspired, based upon, I would say definitely based upon the Wolverine miniseries from the mid 80s by Chris Claremont and Frank Miller. Very good miniseries. I'm having a tough time trying to find this one because I found that when I read it originally, it was really good. I give this movie a 9 out of 10. Very good film. Yeah. James Mangold was a great choice to replace Gavin Hood because that lost a bad taste of everybody's mouth when I saw it. I saw them in theaters, and I walked away from this movie pleasantly surprised at how good the film was because I love Wolverine. He's my favorite character. He's my second favorite character of all time. Yeah, number one is tied between Batman and Spider-Man. Number two is Wolverine. Three is Captain America. Yep. Excuse me. And high praise to Hugh Jackman for this movie. This movie is just freaking good. A lot better than X-Men Origins Wolverine. Oh yeah, and because of the failure of that film, like here's kind of the strange thing. First Class was originally supposed to be X-Men Origins Magneto, but because of the failure of X-Men Wolverine, they changed the First Class. Basically, it's the Magneto script. Yep. So yeah, that's it for this particular review. Stay tuned for my next reviews, which is going to be, I think about 3 more videos I'll probably plan to do today. Basically, the next video I'm going to do is review the newest episode of My Hero Academia, the newest chapter of the manga, review the newest chapter of D Gray Man, and Toshiba Reservoir Chronicle. Yep. Yeah, basically about 3, maybe 4 more videos today, but definitely 2 net soon, okay? Which the next one will definitely be My Hero Academia, okay? See you next video. Bye.